So should you price your products ending with a 9, or should you price your products ending with a 7? Is that the only pricing advice that you need to worry about? How do you price your products if you want to annihilate your competition? How do you price your products if you want to position yourself as exclusive and elusive? And how to use psychology in your pricing without just doing what everyone else is doing, which is ending your price with 9 or 7. All of this we will discuss today in today's session, which is day 4 of the 30 days of persuasion. I am going to give you Bart Simpson's guide to no-brainer pricing. And if you're interested in knowing all about pricing and having the only lesson you will need when it comes to pricing, then you're in the right place. My name is Bushra Azhar. I'm the founder of the Persuasion Revolution, and I teach tiny businesses like you to make big bucks using the psychology of persuasion. But my intro is not important. What's important is what you can do with what's inside my brain. And we are going to be talking about that in just a bit. I'm going to be talking about things that are not really people don't normally talk about. Unfortunately, most pricing advice is so obvious and so overdone that people are still stuck with, okay, but how do we price our products? Yeah, I don't know whether to charge $49 or $4.99. I don't know whether it even makes a difference if I put the digit 9 at the end of my price. All of those questions are, pretty. They haunt you at night. They probably keep you up. Unfortunately, when it comes to price, there are just 2 camps. There are the mass product pricing and there's the premium product pricing. And that's it. That's where everything ends, right? That's like everything. That's the only pricing advice that's out there. Choose your poison. Choose whether you're going to price it at 7 or price it at 9. Choose whether you're going to be premium or mass, and that's it. But I promise you, the things that I will share today are not obvious, because I don't do obvious. Dude, come on. Excellent. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone. Those of you who don't know me, which is what an atrocity, but you know what? Honestly, you're better off if you don't know me. But I'm just going to spoil your life forever by introducing myself. I am someone who has a website and a business, and I make a lot of money, and I do it all from my closet. So right now where I'm sitting, this is my closet. This is my closet wall where I have these stickers on the wall just to kind of give it the illusion that I'm sitting in some fancy office. But the reality is I'm sitting in a closet because I like torturing myself by putting up my office in a closet. No, I'm just trying to escape my family and my children. But really, what I teach is not obvious. Everything that I do and everything that I teach is based on the psychology of persuasion. But really, the idea is that I am kind of done with the obvious advice. I'm kind of done with the obvious thing. Is that the same rehashed advice that everyone gives, the same thing, blog regularly, connect with influencers, do Facebook ads, the same obvious advice. Everyone is just giving such obvious advice. So my mission in life, other than to eat my weight in Nutella, is to stop giving obvious advice, to try new things. This is why we are in business, so we can try new things, fail if we must, but then when we win in such a spectacular manner that the whole world watches. And that can only happen when you ditch the obvious. So what you see here and what you will get from here is never the obvious. It'll be beyond the obvious, and it'll be kind of genius, really. Yeah, I'm kind of full of myself, but that's fine. Okay. I have a couple of co-workers that are stuck in the closet. It's kind of not that kind of closet, but yeah. Okay, excellent. Let's get started. Thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing this. Thank you, Tara. I love you, darling. Thank you so much, everyone who's shared this love. Because again, pricing advice is obvious, and I'm going to be talking about pricing advice that is not obvious. So, but first, let's talk about why Bart Simpson. Why are we talking about Bart Simpson? I think we all need a little bit of Bart Simpson in our lives, and especially when it comes to pricing, especially when it comes to breaking the mold, right? So let me tell you why I chose Bart Simpson for this, because Bart Simpson is a mischief maker. Yes, he's also kind of a brat, but that's besides the point. I think we need to be a little bit more bratty in business. I think we're just being too to confirming, I think we need a little bit more rebellious angle to everything that we do. And that's why what I'm teaching here and the things that I will be sharing here are a little bit against what most people would tell you, especially right now on the internet, where there are two camps, really. There's just two camps. There's the premium or there's the mass. So I'm going to talk about what can or what cannot work. So if you are a wave maker or a mischief maker or a rebel, then establish the same kind of ideology in your business, in your pricing. And this is why my techniques are a bit different. So let me tell you how you price your products. You're coming out with a new product. The very first thing that you need to do is to not decide the price. The very first thing you need to do is to do a market landscape assessment. And this market landscape assessment is not just looking at your competitors and looking at what they are charging. No. When you're looking at the market landscape assessments, you are doing more than just looking at their prices. You are looking, and that's step number one. So market scan, conduct a market scan. And in that market scan, look at what your competitors are charging. Yes. What are they charging that money for? Right? So if they're charging $2,000, what do they offer for $2,000? If they're charging $50, what do they offer for $50? And once you've made, I would actually do a spreadsheet with the top 5 of your competitors with exactly this information. So this is what they're charging. This is what they're including in that price. So does it include calls? Does it include live support? Does it include, not live support? Oh, that would be nice, but live support, or does it include do-it-yourself training? Does it include spreadsheets? Whatever that is. So that is the first thing you will looking at. What exactly are they selling for that price point? The second thing that you will look at is what is missing. So whatever promise they're making, right? So promise, make your $100,000 in 3 months, which is a very common claim that people make. So that's the claim they're making. And then they're selling a course for $2,000. Look at what's included in that course. And what you need to identify is what is missing. In order to fulfill that claim of make $100,000 in 3 months, and what they are promising, all the things they are promising, what is missing? There has to be a disconnect. You need to find that disconnect. You need to find the things that they're promising for that price point versus the claim that they're making that people will get, and then find that disconnect. Do you really believe that no one can make $100,000 in 3 months without one-on-one support, and they're not offering one-on-one support? That's your gap. Identify that gap. That's the first thing. And even though this is not really pricing advice, I will tell you how it ties in to the pricing. But it's a really great exercise for you to do that. Same thing for a $50 product, same thing for a $200 product. I don't care what the price point of the product is. What you need to do is to do this analysis. What is it that they're selling for this price point, and how lacking is that in order to fulfill the claim? Does that make sense to you? This is a really great exercise, by the way. Even if you don't do it for pricing, this is a really great exercise. So does that make sense to you? Are you like, oh, that's a good exercise, I should do that? Why so loud? Because I am a loud person. You should come hang out in my house, or don't. You will probably go deaf. Because I come from a loud, I'm a Punjabi. We are generally loud, but I'm especially loud, even for Punjabis. Okay. Hey, Nicole. Hi, darling. Okay, so tell me, does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? This exercise, do you think that the exercise would help you even just for understanding where you stand before you actually get into the pricing itself, right? Okay, it does. Okay, excellent. I love that. Okay, now next step. So that's your first step. Now, after you've done that analysis, after you have identified what the baseline in your market is, and that baseline, depending on the claim that people are making, once you have done that baseline, your next step is to decide how you are going to take over your market. How are you going to take over your market? Are you going to take over your market by annihilating your competition, like literally swooping in and then killing every other competitor? Or are you going to go into the market and doing what? Carving a nice, niche, exclusive and elusive brand for you. Is that what you want? What is it you want for your business, for that particular product? And again, I cannot tell you what you want to do. When I started, I can tell you my story. When I started my business, I wanted to annihilate competition. And that's why when I looked at all the products that everyone was offering, they were all hundreds of thousands of dollars. I love this question, Steph. I'm going to come back and answer that question. Thank you so much. I'm so glad there are other loud psychos like me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that. Thank you so much for saying that. Okay, so I wanted to quote a price that would literally make me the only logical choice, because it just did not make sense for someone to pay $100 or $200 or $500 for something that I was selling for $50, right? So that's the choice that you need to make. What is your choice? Do you want to annihilate your competition so no one would ever look at them because you literally just, you didn't underprice, you didn't kind of, they call it a price cut. You didn't lowball them, but you went in with this intention that I want to be the only logical choice. If that's what you want to do, which I consciously did, there is the benefit. The benefit is that you will grow super quickly, which means that you will be able to get a lot of people who could not afford the price point that everyone else in the market was asking for. And therefore, when you came in, you attracted a lot of those people. This also means that you might get a lot of people who will not be able to pay higher prices at a later point. So that's the pros and cons. But you are making a conscious decision that I'm only doing this because I want to take over the market. That's what I did. That was my conscious decision. On the other hand, you can make a choice that I don't want to overtake the market. I want to position my brand as something that is exclusive and elusive. I'm not for the masses. I'm not available for everyone else. I will only choose a certain type of person. And in that case, if that's the case, then you can even price above the baseline. So the baseline that you establish, you can go beneath the baseline if you want to annihilate the competition, or you can go above the baseline if you want to carve out an exclusive and elusive niche for yourself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? And on that note, I think the other choice, the other choice that you need to make is also, what is your brand? And kind of that ties into the bigger picture. What is your brand? What does your brand charge stand for? So even though I sell high-end products, even though I sell super high-end products, I've sold products for what, $8,000? No, $10,000, even $10,000. I've sold packages even for $10,000. Even then, I don't position myself as a premium brand. I'm not a premium brand. So I make a conscious decision to not carve out an exclusive niche for myself. But if that's your brand identity, if that's your brand equity, if that's what you want to stand for, if you want to be someone who's elusive and exclusive and who wants to purposely set boundaries and say, I'm not for everyone, then go ahead and charge above what your competition is charging. But when you do that, once you decide, okay, it's going to be above my competition or below my competition, you need to take one more factor into account. Remember that gap that we decided, those gaps, you need to leverage that gap. You need to bring if you're going to charge higher than the baseline. So if everyone in your market is charging $5,000 or $2,000 and you want to go on and charge $8,000 or $10,000 or I don't know however much you want to charge, you want to leverage that gap. The reason we identified that gap is so we can come and leverage it. So this is what the gap is, and this is how I'm fulfilling it. And I will give you this example. No, actually, no, I will not give you an example. I'm going to wait for someone to share this broadcast before I share a specific example of how you can leverage that gap in your own pricing or in your own products. So shared, thank you for sharing it. But you are exclusive. Why do you say otherwise? See, that's the thing. I am not exclusive because you can have access to me by paying me $30 a month. If you are in my lab, you still have access to me. I'm not exclusive in the sense where there are coaches out there just to get them to talk to you, just to get them to respond to your message or to comment on your post. You need to pay them extra money or they won't even respond to you, right? So in that way. Yes. Oh my God. Who's your bestie? Who's your bestie? Susan, you're cheating on me. Susan, you can't have a bestie besides me. You're cheating on me. Why are you doing this? Don't do that. Thank you, darling. Thank you, everyone who's sharing it. Okay, let me give you an example. So the gap that I identified when I was creating Sold Out Launch. Now, Sold Out Launch is a program There are many other programs like this. Many other programs, not even taking names. There are tons of other programs like this. And all of them were priced at about $2,000, right? That was the standard price when I launched Sold Out Launch. Every other program that I was in competition with was priced at $2,000. When I started, I was like, okay, I see one massive gap in all of these programs, one big massive gap. And that one big massive gap is that it does not, all of these programs are just courses. And you cannot start and run an online business, or really an online business from scratch, unless you have the graphics, unless you have the website, unless you have all those pieces. What stops people from launching is not that they don't have the knowledge. It's because they don't have all the right tools, right? So when I started Sold Out Launch, I was like, okay, that's a gap. I see that in the market. No other launch program, build your business, start your business online program had that thing. So I included that in Sold Out Launch, and I purposely, even the first time I launched Sold Out Launch, I priced it higher than what the market was charging, because there was a gap and I leveraged it. Go find that gap. If you are going to go above your market baseline, find that fucking gap and leverage the shit out of it. And you can do it. But that will, when you do that, not only will it allow you to command prices with confidence, because you are more confident, because you know that, you know what, you're justified, but also, and more importantly, your conviction goes up, right? So your conviction, when you're trying to tell someone, and they will ask you this question. We get this question all the time. How is this different from program X? How is this different from program Y? How is this different from program Z? And I can only answer that if I know myself, right? Does that make sense? Have you ever thought of these things? Have you ever thought of that angle when it comes to pricing? Because I wish more people talked about this. I wish more people, we know about that in real life marketing, we know about those things. But somehow when it comes to online, it's really just, ride or die. It's my way or the highway. There are so many other multiples that play a price in what they play a role in pricing your product, but somehow people don't talk about it. So does that help you? Does that make you think, oh, that makes sense? And if it does, please let me know. Excellent. Thank you, Vinisha. Thank you so much for sharing it. Excellent. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Ibrahim. Okay, excellent. There are people who agree with me, which is always awesome. I wish there had more people in the house who actually agreed with me. Okay, so this is how I would decide on the price. Now I want to share with you some really cool hacks that will allow you, that will allow you to present your product in a way that it sounds like a steal. That has nothing to do with how you price it. There is nothing to do with how you price it, and everything to do with how you present it. Okay, tell me, are you excited to hear those hacks? Because again, I am really excited. Some of those are based on psychology. Some of those are based on proven marketing principles. Some of those are an extension of how it would work in a social psychology setting. But all of these work. And I'm dying to share those with you, but I need you to say yes, yes, yes. Because like Tara says, I wish I had any people who agree with me. I'm kind of a sucker for agreement and validation and praise and love and all of those things, because 2 children, 1 husband, nothing happening. So yes. Okay, so Dawn threw like 4 yeses. Okay, excellent. Yes. I got lots of yeses. Okay, I think I'm fine. I think I'm okay with the yeses. Okay, hack number 1. If you are going to be presenting packages, or if you are going to be referring to your product right before you introduce your product, whether in a webinar or in an email or on a sales page, right before you do a product introduction or you introduce or do a price reveal, mention an amount that is at least 3 times the price that you are going to be talking about. And I don't mean the typical, it has this bonus and this bonus and this bonus, and total price, a total value of the program is $200,000, but I'm going to sell it for $19. That's not what I mean. I just mean mentioning anything that is 3 times the price that you are offering, at least 3 to 4 times. You could even mention something like this, something like, when I started my business, I bought a program that was $3,000, whereas your course is $1,000. Or you could say something like, a lot of my clients who have worked on getting these results, they have paid upwards of $3,000. You're just mentioning a price. You're not saying your price is $3,000. All you're saying is dropping an anchor. From a psychological perspective, when you drop an anchor of $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000, now their expectation is set at a higher amount. So when you come back and say it's 1,000 or 500 or whatever, it seems really low. It's just a small line in a copy, small line in a webinar, just a small sentence, by the way, kind of remark that sticks in people's brain. Really cool and really effective. This is hack number 1. Hack number 2 is to depackage, or what not depackage, I would say debulk. So instead of just, if you are, and something that I use for sold out launch as well. So if you are selling a product that is for, I don't know, $4,000, let's just say, okay, let's just say it is what, $1,200, right? So you're charging $1,200 and there is a payment plan. Instead of saying it's priced at $1,200, you can say get started for $100, because one installment is $100. It is just a way to debulk it, because when the brain is faced with $1,200, it reacts differently, but when it is faced with $100, it reacts differently. If there are no payment plans, that is fine. That is absolutely okay. There's another way to do that as well. But really, when you debulk it, if you are going to offer a price, offer an installment anyway, if you are going to offer a payment plan anyway, then don't say get started for $1,200. Instead, say something like get started for $100, because this is what their brain remembers. That is all the brain remembers. The second way, if you're not offering pricing point, if not offering payment plans, then one thing that you can do is to break it by number of days, right? So let's just say the program is 3 months long, right? So you can break it, you can divide 1,200 by 90 days and then just give a per day price. Something that is so obvious, and I use it even though it is kind of overdone, but it still works. So when I say something like get started with mass persuasion method for $2 a day, people are like, oh my God, can I get everything done in my copy for only $2 a day, right? So even though that's not really $2, it just sounds like it is amazing. It is so affordable. Okay, are you here? Does that, nothing happening? Oh, no, okay, you're laughing at my joke. Okay, so yes, thank you, everyone. So, okay, so does that make sense? Is it like, okay, I like that, I can use it? Or are you like, what are you talking about? I could never use it. Either way, let me know, because I want to know what's going on, whether you agree with me or you don't agree with me. Number 3, which is really childish and really stupid, and I could never believe that it would work, but there are multiple studies, multiple conversion studies, multiple social psychology experiments that actually tell us that it is 100% true. And that is the size of the font where you write the price. I know it sounds stupid, but it is true. So before, when I used to put together my sales pages, I would just wanted to make sure that no one missed my buy now button. I would make the button super big. And when I made the button big, I also made the price dollar amount super big as well. But that is a no-no, because the brain perceives it, even if the amount is small, the brain perceives it as a big amount. So it sounds big to the brain, even if it is not big. So now what I do is I try to keep it at the same font. I try to use a different color to make it prominent, but I don't make it bigger. Also, some restaurants have done these studies where they have actually tested, and that could only work if you are selling locally. That would not work for international business. Some restaurants have also experimented with dropping the dollar sign from their menus, and they've seen that people have started ordering higher priced dishes, because somehow that dollar sign makes them feel, makes their lizard brain a bit wary of the price that they're being faced with. So smaller fonts or the regular fonts for your price points, and if you can, remove the dollar sign. Another angle that I would recommend is when you're trying to sell something and that thing has the angle of they can save money, human brain is more attracted to a situation where they gain something rather than avoid the loss of something. So when you are selling something that's all about saving money, stop positioning it as saving money and position it as making money, as earning money. Because again, human brain, it responds more favorably to gaining something than to avoid losing something, which is, again, I'm not making this up. This is based on social psychology, and this is absolutely true. Okay, I'm just going to see if people are enjoying this. They're like, what are you talking about? Why are you giving me all of this? I don't want to hear this. Next one. Never make the price the core part of your sales argument. Never make the price the core part of your sales argument. What does that mean? That means that never lead with the price. Never lead with the price, because if you lead with the price, all people can think about is the price, whereas you want them to think about the benefit of the product and how it can improve their life. So never make price the core of your argument unless price is the core argument. Ta-da! I am a walking contradiction. I just contradicted myself in one fell swoop, and I'm so proud of myself. No, really. No, really. I have a point. I swear there is a point to it. Never make price the core of your argument unless price is the core of your argument. So when I launched Sold Out Launch, I would never lead with the price because it is a high price product. But when I am selling Persuasion Hacks Lab, that I know for a fact that no other product out there charges this much for the amount that's in there, I lead with the price. So never make price the core of your argument unless price is the core of your argument. If you know for a fact that you decided to create something that will annihilate our competition, you are purposely pricing it at a price where it will kill all competition, then lead with the price. No matter what you're selling, whether your product or service or coaching or anything, if the price is the core of your argument, lead with the price. Okay, does that make sense? So Steph asked me a question. I'm just going to quickly answer that question because she asked me that question. I'm also going to take a screenshot of this face that you guys cannot see, but I look like a psycho in this picture. But I'm going to answer this question by Steph. She said, you talked about doing high energy and being high energy. Does it get exhausting? To answer that question is yes, it does get exhausting if you were to do it all the damn time. But I don't do it all the damn time. I don't have a social circle. I don't go out. The only people that I meet are my children, my husband, and my housekeeper. So honestly, the only place I can actually expend that energy is on here. That's why I have a lot of energy. And that's why people come and complain about why I'm so loud, because I have no other place to be loud. As in, I'm loud in real life, but that's all. I only have 4 people to actually be loud in front of. So once I have an audience, I go all in. I literally let it all hang because, I want to. Okay. So the last one, which I call the art of discount and the idiot effect. So human beings mostly are, how do I say this? Kind of idiots and kind of hopeless when it comes to maths. So if you were to position something, especially when you're running a discount or especially when you're running a promotion, somehow gaining, again, the same thing, same principle is in place. Gaining something is more attractive to them than not losing something. So if you have a 50% off, for example, and you're selling a piece of, I don't know, you're selling this scarf, and you have 50% off on the scarf, instead of positioning it as 50% off, position it as buy one, get one free, because we are greedy and we're hopeless at maths, right? So instead of them being able to, okay, so 50% would be, and true story, I promise, true story, the only time I went to the US, I was at Gap, I think, yeah, I think I was at Gap, and I saw a couple mull over for a good 2 minutes trying to determine what 10% of 100 is. So he's like, so 10% of 100 will be, and then they both look at each other and then like, yeah, I think that would be 10. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think that would be 10. Yeah, 10. True story. I witnessed it with my own eyes. And that happens for real. So instead of saying 50% off, when you tell them buy one, get one free, it's always more attractive, because again, we are greedy and we want everything served on a silver platter for you. Okay. So now I'm wrapping up this session because I promised you we will finish in 30 minutes. We went 2 minutes over time. I apologize if I wasted your time, but I hope you found this of use. If you like this, please take a moment to share this with someone who can benefit from this. And I will also really like for you to go check out my international best-selling book called Mass Persuasion Method. The book is available in paperback. Tara, if you can drop the link, that will be awesome. It's bit.ly/mpm book. The book is for $14 and you earn $800 in bonuses when you order the book. So please go ahead, order the book. You will absolutely love the book because I know it is pretty dang awesome. And it will make you into a persuasion powerhouse. That is a promise. So please go check out the book, go check out the bonuses. Everything is for you. And hey, YouTube, wasn't this the absolutely best pricing advice that you've ever heard? Yes, I'm not very modest, but that's fine. If you liked this advice, please subscribe to the channel because every day I will be sharing one persuasion hack that you can implement immediately in your business. Also, give me a thumbs up and send me lots of love. Please go check out my book that will turn you into a persuasion powerhouse. I promise. Seriously. I promise. I really do. Go check it out. Go, 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 go.